Good morning, everyone. It's Friday the 20th. We do have some swell building along the California coast. It's just starting to fill in this morning. As about 7:30 this morning, it still wasn't showing up on the buoys down around Orange County, San Diego. It will be building in throughout the day. Has been filling into Ventura County, Los Angeles County as well. Not a very impressive system as I've been talking about. This one should only max out at about chest high today, maybe a little bit better at times at the standout west-facing breaks. This should then come up to a peak on Saturday morning. The next swell that we're looking at is just some wind swell coming in next week, dropping down from the Gulf of Alaska. Looks like we're going to get some troughing in over the area, maybe some precipitation early next week, and we have a more significant chance of getting some ground swell around the 26th and 28th. And this is only based on about 24 to 48 hour model projections, so it looks like we have a pretty good chance of seeing some ground swell come out of the Western Pacific. Wanted to show you what's going on with the models today. This is what's happening right now. Wanted to once again start talking about the weather models since this is going to have such a major influence over everything else that's coming our way. Still got that blocking high pressure over in the Western Pacific. That's prohibiting storms from that area currently from coming our way. It looks like that's going to change shortly. Very large low sitting off the coast. That's been spinning up that swell that's coming in today. Going to be building in more tomorrow. Still have high pressure, a very weak ridge though, pushing into where Southern California is located. So we're seeing a little bit of nice weather right now. That ridge looks to break down over the next couple of days. This is looking out then on Saturday's model. You can still see strong high pressure over in the Western Pacific, large area of blue. And we can see that low starting to break down a little bit, starting to weaken, move toward our area. And if you notice, it's getting a little bit closer to Southern California as well. And that's going to have some effect on us. Looks like that low will moderate a little bit in strength, move toward the south as that blocking high pressure continues. As that low moves southward, it's going to be in a position to bring that jet stream right over our area and be set up such that we could be seeing some precipitation. Wanted to show you the precipitation chances in a second, but first, this is a better look at how it's going to influence the jet stream. You can see where the Aleutians is located compared to Southern California. And the jet stream would be pushed from the blocking high in the Western Pacific very high up towards the Aleutians. At the same time, that low pressure and troughing would keep the storm track over Southern California. So if all works out well, you can see the difference in strength on the jet stream. The jet stream should stay strong enough far up to the north to keep Western Pacific storms up high, but not necessarily dumping their weather down toward our area. And of course, precipitation will be affected at least over the near term. This is a precipitation model showing what should be occurring on Sunday. You can see where Southern California is located. Very large plume of southerly moisture. The more moisture, the darker the color. So we're looking at parts of the red, that being very heavy precipitation offshore. The edge of that large low pressure system would be located such as it would be farther south than Southern California. That tends to then whip in moisture to our area. So as we start looking at the models progress, we can see just some trail of that moisture coming over Southern California, but maybe not reaching as far south as San Diego and Orange County. And the precipitation that would fall over the next few days and into early next week, in fact, this is looking out at Tuesday's model, it looks like those precipitation chances are going to be light. That's what's playing out today. But moving toward the wave models now, you can see we've still got that 15-foot fetch. This is today's analysis model, the 0-hour model, and it's still a pretty good size fetch for as close as it is to Southern California. So that's what's going to be increasing the surf on Saturday. Being so close to the coast, though, those swells tend not to be all that pretty, so conditions aren't looking necessarily to be the best, but still some decent swell. This is the model of interest. This is only 24 hours out. So this is a pretty good chance that this all will come together. You can see that the fetch that would be bringing us some swell is going to be moving away. And then we've got two new systems developing in the Western Pacific region, the one in particular forming off of Japan. And that's the one that has the best chance of bringing up some swell around the 28th. The first one, that's almost right under the Aleutians, that would be starting to build some swell in around the 26th or so. And then moving along on the models, this is the 60-hour model, and this is where it gets very impressive if this all holds true. Two things happen. One, a new Gulf system starts to drop down, and that would be bringing us some wind swell in around the 24th, 25th time from into Tuesday and Wednesday. That, though, would be linked to that weather possibility and also from that low that was moving southward to whip in that precipitation. And we can see that the fetch would be growing into about a 35-foot, maybe even stronger fetch up and around the Aleutians. But as that fetch starts to progress more, you can see that the jet stream is forcing that guy up toward the Aleutians at a very high latitude. And so that's not going to be best for the swell track. As we progress even farther out on the long-range models, looking out now at about 84 hours, you can see that that would be pushed up into the Bering Sea. But notice how there's still a lot of fetch still located moving toward the Gulf of Alaska. And of course, we can see that other fetch that would be moving down from the Gulf, bringing a swell in around the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame as well. That largest of the fetches, though, coming out of the western Pacific, the one would be forced up high into the Aleutians. That one, holding a 35-foot fetch, would be located about 3,200 nautical miles away when it peaks. That should occur in about 48 to 60 hours, maybe out 72 hours. If that all comes together, it looks like around the 28th we'd see some head-high groundswell out of that. 3,200 nautical miles is quite a long ways from us, so there would be a lot of decay off those 35-foot seas. This, though, is based on such a long-range simulation still that we need to take a look at it over the next few days. But you can always check out the latest ETA, winds, weather, tide, and more on my SoCal Surf Report, wetsand.com.